You can't force nobody to love you. I feel as if when we hold on to old bonds or old relations we have with old people, we tend to try to force that same feeling, that same dopamine, that same rush of adrenaline, all the feelings and emotions you felt when you were once the old person that used to love that person. That's also an old version of them. When we try to force that bond back in the present time, in the present moment, and we see that that person is now resenting us and that person no longer wants anything to do with us, we tend to try to force force ourselves to love them when your real true self doesn't love that bond anymore. Your true self is always tending. I feel as if our soul and our mind are always working together to try and better ourselves, but our ego, which is a huge part of our human nature, sees that and tries to stop that because it's change. Our ego is scared of change. And I'm not talking about the ego that you get when you tend to the ego you have towards yourself. I'm talking about the ego that thinks you're too good to become the better version of yourself. And that is majority of our ego in today as we know it. So our ego doesn't want to let go of this person because it tends to still not resent, it tends to still remember that person in that relationship that was once them, that is no longer them, and you were no longer the same person. So the first step to trying to let go of something that doesn't work anymore is realizing the problem internally. It's not always, it will never be the other person, it's always you, because at the end of the day, you're the only person that exists. So when you find out you that this person is resenting you, and I don't even think you should go into the deep of your mind and try to figure out why or what went wrong. I feel as if that's really irrelevant because at the end of the day, it's not gonna go back to how it was. And that's not always the case, but when you tend to find yourself leeching on and begging and being desperate for somebody, it's not gonna go back to how it used to be. So why try to, and even if it does go back to you how it used to be with a relationship, it's not that person still, that person is belittling you on so many levels and we don't even tend to realize it. And being in the situation is fine. I've been there plenty of times in my life. I know how it feels to cling on to a relationship or friendship or whatever the case may be, but we have to learn to let go and we have to learn to figure out back to base one that the problem is within ourselves. And when we are, as human beings, when we're in this state of being as vulnerable for this person's attention or this person loves or whatever it might be that old bond was, we tend to literally dehumanize ourselves and treat ourselves as if we're an object that must uphold this other person to, so in order for you to get that same feeling that you once got before. It's all a transaction. And that transaction is always going to decline if the card reader isn't accepting your card, which is if that person is being the card reader. It's not accepting you. And I feel as if we must learn when a person doesn't accept you, even moving it, when you're trying to move on, if you're deceived by a person looks, it's a shame that every person that we think is beautiful is not always beautiful and not in a human form. So moving on or forward, we shouldn't let looks hypnotize us in a way, you know? Always get to know somebody before you move on and move into something serious or move, because you would hate to be stuck with a person that's beautiful on the outside but not truly in the soul. And it's not always about you being that person that's trying to gain something back. If a person tends to hurt you or repeatedly hurt you in the past and you move on with yourself and you're changing for the better, and that person is on the other end of the broomstick trying to figure out why what's going on, trying to manipulate you again into a situation that you don't want to be in anymore. It doesn't have to, and even if people around you are saying that you tripping or whatever, like you should go back, do. If people like love seeing y'all together, do, it shouldn't make sense to anybody. I ain't gonna say it shouldn't, but like it doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense to anybody. As long as it makes sense to you, and as long as you know you doing what you want to do with your life and you're making a decision for what you want to do, that's all that matters. I feel as if we never should try to people please in a sense. So when you on that other end of the broomstick and that person was the one that was hurting you and trying to build that bond back with you, never fall into that temptation. It's the same. That's literally low key the same thing as lust. I feel as if that's just all temptation. Falling back into a relationship or a friendship with a person that has showed you their true colors once before. And I'm not saying people can't change at all. People can change. But I feel as if with your own emotions and feelings, you must move cautious with those, because those are precious. And once those are vulnerable and once those are exposed and they're exploited, you tend to put yourself in a very, very bad spot. Because I feel as if our emotions and our feelings are our currency in our body. It literally controls our mind, like how we feel and our emotions are. I'm not saying that's what drives us, but that's like a big chunk of our mental. Literally, our mental is all about how you feeling. But y'all get what I'm saying, man. Like, don't fall into that temptation. Don't ever people please, and always follow the path that you want to choose for yourself when it comes to bettering yourself. And deep down inside, you know you're not following that path that you should truly know should be following. Talk to yourself, communicate with yourself, give yourself some slack and tell yourself it's okay. We all make mistakes. But in a sense, push yourself and be hard. It's all about balance and it's all about you giving, whatever you putting in, that's whatever you're gonna get out. So it all comes to realizing that you can't force yourself on anybody. You can't force anything on anyone. They can go relationships. They can go really with religion. Like a lot of people tend to force religion on other people. But I'm going to keep it to relationship. If y'all want a video on my opinion on religion, let me know. But you just can't, you gotta, the law I've done talked about before in my past videos about just being and just staying where your feet are and just accepting and allowing. So if a person doesn't want you anymore, or a bond that you used to have with somebody isn't the same, and you're just desperately trying to trying to get that same feeling and those same memories and you want to relive them, trying to build all these memories with somebody who doesn't care for you like they used to put yourself first and stop prioritizing another human being. Because at the end of the day, everybody else outside of you is just a human being, or it's just everybody outside of you is a side character. And I know that sound like that's harsh or something, but that's the simple truth. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is you. And you have to start living like that. And once you start living like that and realizing that it's all about you and your own reality, your life tends to get way better, because nothing outside of you can truly bother or hurt you. And that's what the real true meaning of peace is to me. Not letting outside things or outside factors bother you as much as it used to. Of course, we're going to go through things in life that bother us. But when you master that art of peace and you're okay and you are just learning to allow things to just happen and play out outside of yourself, life makes a lot more sense. So in conclusion, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for watching my whole video through. I appreciate it. I ain't making a long video today. Been slacking a little bit. Might need, if y'all want longer uploads or shorter uploads, like on my videos, let me know. A comment or a share or whatever to get in contact with me. I really appreciate it. I appreciate a subscribe, a like, a comment, all that. I just love all, and I just want all that reciprocated to me. But I know how to allow and be okay with stuff that's not going my way, you know? So I'm gonna see y'all in the next one, man. And I have one more thing to say.